Good morning and welcome to Healthy Hearts and Guillotines. This is Chessie, and we're glad you're back with us this week. This week on Healthy Hearts and Guillotines, me and my compatriot...
my name's Akeem.
Me and my compatriot are talking escapism from politics and unhealthy escapism. Sort of condense this for me, would you?
Well, I would say it's the problematic ways we try to escape politics, capitalism, all that.
Okay, basically the ways that we are self-destructing, trying to get away from the rather bleak look of the world.
Yeah, the ways we're trying to avoid dealing with the problem.
Which, I have a few of those.
Yes, it's in your hand right now.
It's right here. Incidentally, this week I removed Instagram from any of my start menus. I still have to use it for work, but it is no longer on my start menus, and it is no longer the first app that I can touch when I turn the phone on.
A good step.
It's a beginning. I do need to turn everything back to black and white, because I found I was using the damn thing a lot less when I had it like that.
It's just, there's less dopamine.
There is. So when we were talking about the initial concept for this episode, it was I've got your notes here, and the three problematic ways to escape capitalism. I'm just going to read the first one here, and then you're going to have to explain it to me. So for the common man, the first way we look to escape is to retire, and the goal from that is to stop being forced to work and to stop being forced to participate in consumerism or the economy as something that gets extracted from. Mm-hmm. Lay that out for me.
Well, the retirement is a dream that has worked for 1-2 generations.
I mean, total. Yeah. I think probably Gen X and the boomers, maybe some of the silent generation got to retire. So silent generation, boomers, I know a whole lot of Gen X people who are just like, I'm not retiring, I'm working all the time.
And we can see that it's a growing issue.
It is, yeah. And also we can see that we're not going to get to retire. At least unless there is some sea change in society.
Yeah, some actual big change. But I think how this happened is the ultra wealthy got to retire whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, 100%.
And then they're like, well,
what if we keep playing Monopoly with the entire planet?
And then just selling this dream of, hey, the system is really bad, but hey, you can run away from it when you're 60, 61, 62. Oh, look, it keeps growing and growing. And I
think in Russia it's now, 72 or something insane like that?
It probably can be like that because in France it's also rising. And of course, they're revolting every single time.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know about most cultures of revolution around the world, but if I were French and in power in France, I think I would look around and go, you know what, they're going to start burning our stuff if we do this again. Maybe we shouldn't do this time. I have basic pattern recognition skills. Every time I'm shitty to the French people, they burn something.
And I'm proud of you.
Yes, do more of that. Like, if the rest of the world had this particular response to the wealthy and powerful being dickheads, it would be a better world.
Also, maybe bring back the guillotines.
Yes, we do like the guillotines here on Healthy Hearts and Guillotines.
We're biased and we don't care.
Yeah. We have been considering the sale of guillotine plushies.
Not sure how that's going to look like.
It's just going to be a little plush guillotine with big googly eyes on it. Okay. So this idea of retirement, you're basically saying that retirement's a big con.
People realize the more people retire, and you actually pay people who are past their prime, or in their autumn years, they can live longer. And somehow they didn't connect the dots. It's like, if I pay for a person and they take care of themselves, they won't die as fast. So no one expected the age in which people usually die, to grow exponentially, basically.
Well, I mean, here's the funny thing. It hasn't grown exponentially that much. It's like 5%. I think the average age of death is still something like 76 years old in most of the developed world. But this is going to come down to one of our favorite phrases on this podcast.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
The wealthy are the problem. Capitalism is the problem.
Because you could make retirement realistic for people, or probably a bit more realistic to make half retirement. Hey, work half time, and then you can move into later years full retirement.
Yes.
Because it's not like, hey, I'm 60, 61, okay, I am dying, that's it.
I'm worthless, I can't do anything. I knew some old guys at the farmers markets, where I work regularly, who are in their 80s and still out there schlepping carrots. So there's nothing to stop a person who keeps healthy and active from doing something to contribute to their community.
And I think it's praiseworthy. And if you deprive a person of all work, not just the meaningless work people want to get rid of, but also the meaningful work.
Yeah, intrinsically valuable work.
Yeah. Then a person, well, they will start to lose their marbles.
And there's actually some good studies on the fact that people who retire and then don't also have like a broad base of friends and community and meaningful work to continue with just die. Like literally, people just die if they are not given something to do.
Because it just leads to a lot of mental deterioration. How basically everyone has confirmed, hey, if you do Sudokus every day, you delay dementia.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, really, using your brain makes your brain not lose brain cells. It's like the same thing with muscles, like the same thing with the whole of the body.
Yeah.
You give the bones some workouts and the bones like, okay, I guess I'm needed. I'm not just gonna create osteoporosis.
I'm not just gonna disintegrate under you.
Yeah, you're using me, I'll stay.
Okay, so this idea of retirement as a source of escape for people means that somebody is spending their entire life, from the moment they begin their working life, looking forward to escaping their singular life into a life where they don't do anything.
So let's say that would be 40 years ish of your life you're not living.
Yeah, 40 years of your life you give up to capitalism so someone else can get wealthy, and your reward is to stop doing that.
That was the dream.
That was the dream.
You're not gonna have this anymore.
Yeah, and now we're into a place where they've squeezed and extracted so hard that you don't get to quit. You're just not allowed.
Technically, you should be able to. Like, there's no rules that are changing except for the fact that, hey, we're putting money where money shouldn't go, and now we need to print more money, and inflation is rising. How could that happen? And now the pensions are rising a little bit, but inflation is rising much faster.
Rising a lot more. So one of the things I've had to implement at markets because of that exact thing is a senior discount. I sharpen knives at farmers markets for about €3 for seniors because they just don't have the money to have sharp knives if they don't have a discount. Their pensions are fixed, which is insane to me. You know, how are you not keeping at least the pensions ahead of inflation? I guess I'm the crazy one here, though.
Like pension discounts, they have been a thing for a long while. And that just goes to show how retiring is a crutch of a dream.
It really is. So that That does sound like suicide with extra steps.
It really does sound like you hate everything so much, you just disassociate from who you are, what you're doing, and you're just trying to logically motivate yourself. Hey, like in the future, I can stop feeling like this.
That sounds miserable.
It exactly is the definition of miserable.
All right, so the second way that people tend to escape from the idea of capitalism these days is the one that might be the most toxic, because it's the one that makes people go out there and stand in front of a camera with their whole chest defending Elon Musk.
I mean,
Proceed.
There's slightly worse things, but yes, you basically get the gist. If retirement was, hey, I just need to work long enough. Now, number 2 is getting the big dream, becoming a millionaire or so on. And then you can't be touched by that system because you're at the high point of the system.
So it's basically striking it rich.
Yeah.
Becoming one of the people with their boot on everyone's necks.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like people strangling me economically. But what if I was doing the strangling? Oh, then it's okay.
But it's great. You know, if I'm the one who's making everybody else miserable, lovely. This is a thing where you'll see this a lot in people who have really bizarre gambling addictions. They're trading on the stock market all the time in hopes of one day they will options trade their way into enough money to never think about money again. But that's the goal, isn't it? Is to make so much money that you never have to be part of this system again. Because the system is a nightmare.
The system is a nightmare, and either that you don't have to think about money anymore, or that it doesn't stress you out anymore.
Yeah, it's become something that just you can push out of your mind because you're so wealthy. But that's just another form of escape. Changing the system don't play into it.
No, it's like changing the system. That's a lot of work. So everyone can have it better? Nah, no way.
We can't do that. We can't make the system less of a nightmare.
I can just be in the part of the system that doesn't feel a nightmare.
Which, that's, I don't know how much money you have to make these days to not feel this capitalist hellscape that we're in. I've heard numbers in the range of $250,000 a year is enough to feel secure, but I am lucky if I clock 20,000 a year, and I live in a country where that's enough to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fathom how Americans do it, because something like half of their money goes to rent, and then another quarter of it, if you're a family of 4, goes to healthcare and health insurance.
Which doesn't do anything.
That's bonkers. That's insane.
It is. And it feels like a complete gap of morals. It's like, hey, I hate when my boss works 2 hours remotely per week and earns, $1 million a year.
Earns 300. What was average CEO pay versus worker pay was something like, 100 times what a worker in just an office makes.
And then somehow this system creates so much resentment towards that person that it becomes envy. It's like, hey, if I'm in that place, then it's fair.
And I always wonder when I see people defend the notion that we shouldn't tax billionaires and millionaires out of existence. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Probably because your dream is to become millionaires. Like, hey,
yeah, and that's the thing is like whenever they defend this, the idea is that they want to be the millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a healthy thing to want to be, because being a millionaire, being a billionaire, we've seen what these people are like. You're either Katy Perry going up onto Jeff Bezos, Amazon.com branded space shuttle and calling herself an astronaut, which that was weird, or the Epstein people. Like, there's nothing sane or healthy about seeking to become part of these groups.
Because money is control, and that is excessive control.
Yeah, it's creepy control.
Yeah, it is creepy amounts of control.
And it also, like, very much disconnects people. Because
100%.
once you have money in those quantities, you're not really connected to the rest of us anymore.
What you could spend in a day, people might need to work several months.
Or several lifetimes. Because, I mean, some of these people play Monopoly with real buildings.
They do.
I will probably never make $1 million in my life, but there are cars that are $1 million. I had the opportunity to key one 2 months ago. Don't tell anybody.
And like I said, the issue is we're ignoring the fact that the system is the problem. Because the system has, as we have said before, just value everything and everyone by a single metric.
Which is dollar value.
Dollar value, or I guess euro value, since we're in Europe now.
Yes, right. It's money,
It's still money. And the issue is, back in the old good days of the plague, we had knights with a thing called morals and values.
Not that they actually paid a whole lot of attention to those, but the idea of morals and values has been something that we as human beings, at least on the bottom rung, have valued for a long time. Your value, when you have no money, is your ability to be trustworthy and morally upright. If you don't have money, what you have is your word. What you have is other people knowing that you are a safe person to be around, your willingness to defend others. All of that is what you've got if you don't have money. Money seems to come in and replace all of that.
It does. And when the system stresses you so much with all of the rising costs of everything, it seems that you have two options. And one of them is being destitute, and the other one is selling your morals for some cash.
Which is something that
the rich have no problem with.
The rich have no problem with. They already sold those off cheap. But if you are the kind of person who doesn't want to sell yourself in that fashion, you end up making a podcast.
Maybe.
And we're looking for, I think a lot of us are looking for alternatives to that. Unfortunately, within this system, the alternatives are also not that healthy. So that leads us on to the last kind of escapism.
Which is just pure consumerism.
Screw the problem, I am distracted.
I want to ask you, when you look at the shittiest jobs ever, what do the people do on breaks or in between work hours? Is it drinking, smoking, possibly more drugs, eating themselves sick?
I also had a gacha addiction. I really loved Hearthstone. Incidentally, if you get the chance to play Hearthstone, it's great.
But don't.
Yeah, don't do that. I have had a cell phone and Steam addiction at various points. Which is not to say I didn't accomplish other things, but I gave a lot of money to people who were basically just letting me spin a wheel in hopes of striking it lucky on something totally worthless.
And that is just another issue when, of course, you feel so low. You feel so low that you want just some way to feel a little better. And it might logically make absolutely zero sense. Playing gacha, buying a lottery ticket. Logically, that is not smart.
You are tossing money into a deep, dark pit where it will never come back.
It's a wishing well.
Yes, it's a wishing well where there's literally a guy at the bottom with terms of service saying, "You're not gonna win, asshole!"
It is essentially that, but Of course, they do let you win like a little bit or something
from time to time
to keep you hooked and spend more.
Mm-hmm. To be clear, I have a disability, which is to say, I never win when I gamble, just ever. Like, I have a loss rate for gambling that is shocking, and which is why I don't do it anymore. But because you can only lose so many times in a row before you realize, oh, luck exists and I don't have it.
Yeah, and of course, casinos are very much aware of that, so they let you win a little bit. But now you've been let go of the cycle so you can escape.
Yeah, but the screw it, I'm going to simply use the money I have not to plan for the long term, not to develop a community, not to build institutions. I'm going to use it to feel good for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a healthy way to live.
No, but sometimes that's the only thing people know.
Mm-hmm. I have to confess, my partner's mother has a condition like this where she has just a spending addiction that is unreal. And I've met a lot of people who have these like extreme spending conditions, and you like in your head you're thinking, God, how can this person be spending their rent on what is effectively nothing?
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize that doing that is the only reason they haven't stepped in front of a bus.
Yes, it is a coping mechanism, which means it does provide something to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be replaced by something better. And yes, you should probably replace excess social media use, doom scrolling, very popular.
What? Look,
Binge watching TV, streaming music nonstop.
Shut up!
I'm just like calling you out with everything, aren't I?
Yes.
Gaming when it interrupts, daily activities.
Daily life.
Yeah. Substance use, including alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. Cigarettes, the most socially acceptable way to, disassociate.
Cigarettes and alcohol are the two most socially acceptable ways to get away from capitalism. I mean, the fact that you still get cigarette breaks during the day in a lot of places is crazy.
Yeah, so the other ones are compulsive shopping, which you already said.
Yes.
And just consumerism. Just like you see something new, it's like, I gotta have it. It's like, why? Dopamine.
Give me 5 seconds of dopamine.
One of the ways Lithuanians do it is the older generation does love overworking because they see work as a means to an end. As we've said, to earn money. But the issue is that they're not rewarded as much for their work as they should be, because that's how capitalism works, basically.
I mean, are any of us rewarded for what we do?
No, but back to them, they see that, system's bad, they're in a bad place, they're stressing, and they're thinking, more money, less stress.
Which,
no.
More money, more problems.
There's some amount of money you need to survive.
Yeah.
But humans need some time of work and some time to rest. And they just take all that rest and put it into work.
Just if you're needing rest, you're weak.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's like the survival of the fittest. And they think they're somewhere on the bottom rung and they're going to get eliminated, eaten by a lion.
Or they think they're the fittest and they are, I'm working until they have to drag me out of here. I'm the fittest. Like, no, honey, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works. And
you are only the gazelle at the back of the pack.
And the thing is, these people are praised, which is another different issue. You know who praises them?
Would it be the wealthy?
It would be the boss that's praising them, because the boss is the one who's getting all the extra profit from their work. So overworking naturally at first gets praised, And then that becomes the expectation for many people. And then they try to live up to that expectation. And then what happens is, well, you need to be dependent on certain chemicals, bad habits to continue that.
Yeah. I mean, in the 50s, we sold meth to housewives, called it Mommy's Little Helper. Literally, you can look this up. It's crazy.
They will sell you anything just to keep you working, even though it's unhealthy, it's actual drugs. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by nature, but...
I mean, you do work on a podcast that is about all the ways that our health is being screwed up by politics.
Yeah, but it's not a conspiracy. It's just fucking true.
It's just true.
It's just that.
It's true. We have proof.
And if you're like forced to work 8 hours miserably, you know what helps with that? Cigarettes. And we get cigarette breaks.
Hey, you've got a nice little stimulant that will shorten your life and mean that you're working the whole time, but you don't get to retire.
It's like, wow, the system comes full circle.
And it's almost like these companies know that's true and defended the health efficacy of cigarettes in court briefings in the 1970s and 80s, even though their own studies said they were effing lethal.
I remember that one. They just lying from camera. Cigarettes are harmless. And I'm like, wow.
Wow. Wow, guys.
It's like, guns cannot kill people.
Yeah, stand up there, hand on the Bible, and say things like that.
And just lie about absolutely everything because I like profit.
I like money.
So yeah, overworking was the old generation way. And the younger generation has, well, maladaptive daydreaming, if you've heard about it.
You're going to have to lay that one out a little more clearly for me.
So let's say someone from the young generation. Actually, I fucking am. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm about to say, you're like 28, right?
Yeah, I'm 28. So yeah, let's say I'm working customer support. I'm writing these emails that, mean nothing at all.
Functionally, they will be forgotten minutes after this end.
No one cares about what I do. I could be writing a book instead. I could be doing so many better things. And this dissatisfaction makes me disassociate and imagine a better scenario in my head, which causes me some pleasure.
So you escape from the suffering into a disassociative daydream.
Yeah.
And at some point, I'm presuming people just don't leave the daydream.
They don't leave it, or they have no control over when they go into it. Because this association is another coping mechanism that happens automatically. Like if you don't give your body tobacco, alcohol, drugs, screen time, your body's like, well, I still feel bad.
I can only take so much suffering before it's just switches off.
Like you will get some sort of symptomatic. And sometimes that's disassociation. You become disconnected from the world, the other people. And you can have many expressions of disassociation. Maladaptive daydreaming is one of them. Others is just pure disassociation, where you just start staring like this.
You go into the deep spaces between universes where waits Yog-Sothoth, the idiot god.
You make it sound really good, but otherwise it's just like staring out in the distance and feeling nothing.
No emotions.
Just emptiness.
And there are going to be people who are going to ask, well, why is that a bad thing? You get one life. One!
Yeah, literally one life. And you need to be asking yourself, how long could you exist like this before it's, well, either irreversible or
lethal?
Because it's not harmless. All these things are harming you. Essentially, you're progressing in self-harm. You start with one cigarette, one drink, 1 hour on the phone, a little bit of maladaptive daydreaming, just like, as a treat. A little cheeseburger, it's like, it's no harm. But the issue is you see it changing you, harming you, and it's so slow that you don't feel any emotional reaction from it until something really bad happens, which lots of people call the midlife crisis.
Or a breaking point. I know some 25-year-olds who are starting to have stuff we used to call a midlife crisis.
It's just a crisis now.
Yeah, they get out of college and they look around and go, wait, where's all the stuff I was promised?
Yeah.
None of it exists?
It's depressing how true that is.
I suppose we must, in having done this treatise on escapism, get around to what's the alternative if you have to live in this nightmare.
The system can only live if we continue to live in it.
And continue to avoid the problem.
Yes. The more you live in the money machine, the more it grows, the worse it gets for 99% of us. And for the 1% of us that think they're better than the rest of us, you should go to a French rally where they burn stuff.
Yeah. There will eventually come a day, because the nature of this system is that fewer and fewer people end up with the money to get out of the system. And one day it's just going to be one guy with all the money, and all the rest of you are going to be going in the meat grinder. Whether that meat grinder is a war in Ukraine or a war in Iran.
Or just being forced to work 16-hour shifts because rent is $15,000 for some reason.
Yeah, rent is $15,000. Do you know how much insurance for a family of 4 in the U.S. is right now?
No.
$27,000 a year.
Yeah, of course, one income isn't going to be enough soon.
It's not.
One job per person.
Yeah, one job per person. You're going to have 4 jobs per person. Because right now, I think the average is 2 jobs in the U.S. That's the average. And then pretty soon, it's going to be 3 jobs. You're going to be working 120 hours a week. People at that point are going to start looking at the things they have around them that are flammable and deciding that if something's burning, they don't have to work. And that's a change of mindset.
Like, we're talking about people literally breaking. And the issue with the breaking point is you can feel getting closer to it, but you never know how close you are to it.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you're on a graph like this, and everybody's down here, but you can't see to the right of the point you are on that graph. And you don't know where the point where it starts to spike is.
It's, I would say it's something like sprinting your heart out. And you never really know how fast you can push yourself until, you just have a traumatic incident, hurt yourself. It's like everyone just saying, just run faster. It's like, yeah, we've tried that.
Go slightly faster. Go until the muscles break. And then, you can do that once, but only once.
And then you'd realize that living in this system will get you closer to that point. And not just you, but everyone else will be getting closer and closer to the breaking point. And the issue with the breaking point is that you lose, not just your marbles, but basically everything, any attachment to this world.
Yeah, I want to be clear about something here. Just take this on board. There is a breaking point for everyone, and you will reach it during your life if nothing changes in the system that we live in.
The issue is that, let's say you're the strongest person on earth, okay? Let's just say that. Other people will break too.
Everybody else is going to break before you, and you have to watch everybody else break before you.
And the thing is, when a person breaks, I'm just going to mention the Unabomber here for some reason.
Why are we going straight to Kaczynski?
Because they were someone who were very intelligent.
Yes.
A mathematical, genius, but they broke.
Yeah.
So let's just imagine we start breaking like that.
Not great.
Not great. And the thing is, we all can break. The person farming your food can break. Then the person who packages the food doesn't have a job, doesn't have what to eat, they break. And then the whole line breaks like a domino.
Mm-hmm.
And
at that point, it doesn't matter if you're the strongest person on Earth. You're the strongest person on Earth and starving.
You're a millionaire and bread is 2 million. What the hell?
Uh-huh. The United States is about to face this, incidentally, because we got a whole lot of our fertilizers from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of we made this stuff out of petrol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not petrol specifically, but we made it out of gases and so on that we pulled out of the ground, ammonium nitrates. And we just caused the prices of those to double.
It's like, oops.
Whoops.
But, war is good for the economy, but not the people. The longer this goes on, the worse the system will get, the more people will collapse. And then, at best, it's going to be a natural selection for people who are willing to be overworked and miserable.
That's the bad outcome.
No, that's the best outcome.
That's the best outcome. Oh, I would like to think that the alternative is that we actually collectively decide that we no longer want a system of self-destructive impulses like this. We want to do something else.
Yeah, and that's the first step. I don't judge anyone. Like, we were born into the system. We didn't ask for this. Like, the one good thing it did, lots of food.
It has done lots of food.
And I was gonna say houses, but
we're kind of running low on those at the moment.
Yeah. And well, yes, the system basically makes all of us victims. Even the millionaires who are just...
Because it's making them weird.
You do not want to touch children if you're normal. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, that's freaky behavior.
That's freaky. And many prominent people have noted that we exist to serve the system, not the other way around. And we need to start moving away from that, obviously, which obviously means to build communities, our favorite motto.
Community building is the center of everything.
Because either way it goes, you need a community, you need people to trust.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's a revolution, you need a community. Let's say everything collapses and you need to rebuild, you need a community.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the state gets oppressive and starts arresting people for...
being trans in public?
No, it's just anything.
That's the one that immediately popped into my head because that's going on in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, well... there's that old example, like they came for the X people and I didn't stand up. They came for the Y people, I didn't stand up.
Yeah.
They came for me and there was no one else to stand up for me.
Ironically written by a fascist.
It's like, yeah, that's a different story. So yes, you do need to have a community to serve and be served by.
Yeah. All right. Incidentally, and speaking of communities, we're going to throw together a Discord server at some point soon for Healthy Hearts and Guillotines, so maybe y'all can start helping us build this community.
And helping each other find the community, finding just one more person you could actually trust, not one more person who's out trying to take your money, because it seems that's what the internet has come to these days.
Yeah, it's all a big grift. We are never selling vitamins.
I mean, I would sell vitamins that work.
But I mean, like, I'm not going to sell vitamins that someone is sponsoring me to sell. If I were to, going to sell vitamins, I'd want to show up at the factory and be like, I need you to show me a chemical breakdown of what's in this. Because, gamer fuel is not food.
No, it isn't.
All right. So we're coming to the end here today, and I want to thank everybody for taking this time with us. This is our first episode with a green screen, and maybe our last. We'll see how it actually turns out, because I'm going to do a lovely sort of campfire scene back here or something.
That'd be lovely.
I want to first plug my compatriot's business, dalife.lt, where he can help you with consultations on your diet, your exercise regime, and generally creating a healthy life balance for yourself. I also would like to plug our website, www.healthyheartsandguillotines.com, where you can see our old episodes, synopses, and when we get it, some merch. And beyond that, we're going to have a Discord soon, and once we have that, we'll throw it in the show notes. It was good to hear from you this week, Zaheem. I'm glad you came out.
I'm glad we managed despite being sick.
Yes, both of us have a pretty nasty old dog cough at this point.
It's seasonal. What can you do?
God, I hope it's seasonal. Anyway, this has been Healthy Hearts and Guillotines, and just reminding everyone,
your health is in your hands.